Adventures of Sonic Episode 34, Mad Mike the Bear Warrior. Tails saves a civilian who is being chased by Grounder, and it felt suspicious when he asked him to get him to Sonic fast. Robotnik's forcing the villagers to make an ice statue of his head, and he has the only road to the village full of traps. Scratch overhears him and drills with the machine underground, and Tails hands Sonic stuff. Oh, for fuck's sake, of all the original characters to bring back, why the stupid bears? What, are they gonna think Sonic and Tails are Scratch and Grounder again? One of them even trips. They drive around the truck and hit a bunch of vehicles. Then Scratch says the radar shows the heroes are right above them, and Tails and Sonic take a while to stop spinning. Huh? Then Scratch comes back with a drill machine and grabs a civilian who says he wanted to help his starving village. Sonic fools the robots somehow with another disguise. At first I was hoping the stupid act would be subverted, because the first car he tries to make them drive is clearly too damaged, and they would see through his act and slap him. But of course not. They go into another car and drag a car with a rope in their drill machine. Sonic goes in the hole after them and coughs from dust. I'd respect Scratch and Grounder a lot more if they wisened up. Oh no! Big Mike gets kidnapped.
Oh no! We lost Big Mike!
Sonic uses a stethoscope he somehow has to overhear the robots who talk about stuff when they have no reason to talk about it, all to conveniently tell Sonic that they're taking Mike to a hollowed out hilltop interrogation chamber. Again, we could have really used Uncle Chuck as a spy in the story, or an inventor character to spy on the bad guys with the machine. They'll go to any lengths to have it so that Sonic's the only one doing stuff. Scratch presses a button to release a flying robot at him, but he hits it away and breaks it even though he's tied up. Before they could torture him like I would realistically expect evil robots to do, Sonic shows up with a stupid disguise he shouldn't have and somehow fools the robots. After the show, I never want to see a character be gullible like this again. I'm fed up with this! And the show is only halfway done! How many times do they use the paper-thin disguise trope? That's not funny! That's overdone at this point. They should be subverting it by now, deconstructing it, ripping it apart. Scratch sends out more robots that Mike can destroy just fine because one of his arms isn't tied. You'd think it'd be common sense to tie it by now. Knock him out if you have to. Sonic clearly has his spines visible. Why would they not know who he is right away? It makes sense if the robots were seeing blue hedgehogs all the time, like a whole village of them. Scratch says now he can never let Mike go, making a cage around him, and Mike somehow breaks free of the ropes. Why didn't he do that earlier? That was padding. Sonic congratulates the robots with a German accent and makes a trophy out of nowhere fall on them, and frees the civilian ridiculously easily, climbing out of the building from a rope. He apologizes to Mike for making him mad, and Mike says he likes being mad and covers up the way out with a tree. Well, I like that moment at least. Sonic tells the bunny to fasten his seatbelt as the truck starts moving with them in it. Apparently, Scratch was crushed by falling rocks off screen, that's how pathetic he is, and he puts a detour painting a road up to a picture of the canyon's road. Somehow, the idiot bears actually fall through this, and Sonic doesn't warn them ahead of time. When it's let off a cliff in a Wile E. Coyote ripoff, Sonic speeds around the truck and somehow manages to slow down their fall. It would have made sense if he had done a Sonic Heroes tornado to slow down their fall that way. Then a crocodile that's hungry comes out of the green lake and threatens the heroes. Sonic shoots chili at it from a tube, and it's way too spicy for it. So much for Sonic being compassionate to animals and feeding it. Suddenly, some bikers threaten their truck, and Mike drives the truck to avoid them, calling himself the Bear Warrior as if I'm supposed to take these complete idiots seriously. Nothing can make up for their stupid origin episode. Somehow, the motorcyclists all drive into each other after all their years of experience. Robotnik, who's wearing something new for once, as he's appropriately dressed for the cold, orders Scratch around over the phone. The truck drives right through some bags on the road that somehow weren't noticed from a distance by the driver. Grounder says they don't know how tough they really are, fall apart. Okay, I love that moment.
Yeah, they don't know how tough we really are.
And with no signs of them being rebuilt, they're back to normal in the next scene because viewers are goldfish. And he puts something into a water cup to create a castle above them, which lands on them, and they enter it from a trapdoor below and raise the drawbridge. This makes the truck stop. The bears sit on something on the truck and fling themselves through the wall. They have such stupid voices and are so stupid. Why do they think this episode will redeem their characters? The bears take away the spike balls and threaten Scratch. The robots jump into the water. I guess they're waterproof. Out of nowhere, a giant knight comes out of the green moat and sadly misses with his spike ball arm when he tries to hit the bears, who run away. Sonic tells one of them to call the bunny and tell him to press a button in the truck. This suddenly makes it stand upright, breathe fire, and fly over to the castle. What? Where did that come from? That's a Deus Ex Machina. Sonic says that he asked Tails to build it for them.
So I asked Tails to build it for us.
So they're acknowledging that Tails is a brilliant engineer now? Maybe they aren't because I have no faith in the show, but if they are, they better keep this up and not do an engineering thing with him for literally 2 times in the whole show. Tails presses a button as the robots get scared away, and all of the rabbits get fed. Robotnik yells at them to stop eating and get back to work. Doesn't he realize that if they starve, they won't be able to work for him for very long? He really would have benefited from them being robots. Why not just make robots do this work? They're more efficient. The bear shoots chili at him, burning him, and all of the villagers run after him, which is inspiring to see as they stand up to him and he hides on top of his ice statue. This is much more satisfying to see than Sonic the Invincible, Jesus Chuck Norris God, Sonic the Hedgehog, easily winning against Robotnik because you expect that of him. You don't expect that out of normal civilians, but because there's power in the crowd, they can stand up to him. Sadly, nothing comes of this because he gets in his Eggmobile and escapes being beaten up by the angry mob because fuck karma. You know, fuck telling kids that there's consequences for doing bad things. I like that Sonic calls Tails Miles by accident. It references it instead of it only being for 1 episode. Sadly, Sonic makes the ice statue into a statue of the bears, and not him, because they're creators' pets. And they're enough creators' pets to make him totally out of character. And Scratch and Grounder are too crushed by the knight's foot to answer the phone. How did they survive the situation? You'd think eventually their brains would have been completely destroyed. The Sonic Says is about Sonic telling people to not take other people's medicine because it could be bad for them. What does that have to do with the episode? It's hard for me to see why this episode would redeem the bears as characters because they still have stupid voices and act like complete idiots, driving right off a cliff into an obvious trap that Sonic doesn't warn them about. So they made Sonic an idiot so that the bears could be idiots. I guess Mike was needed to drive the truck because Sonic's feet couldn't reach the gas pedals, but they don't show us that. I remember Tails' contribution more than theirs. Suddenly just now they have Tails be a brilliant engineer because he built their ace in the hole, making the truck a transformer. This better be the start of him being an engineer for the rest of the show in every episode. Why waste this? And even then, Archie Sonic handled it more naturally because he was spending all his time with Rotor and Chuck. The transition was so gradual and natural that I didn't notice it at all. Who would he possibly learn engineering from now? Are there other engineering scientists that... Well, if there are, then he should be spending all his time with them. Or at least some of his time. Sonic does say he had Tails build it. So maybe he learned engineering from Sonic? Blasphemy! I guess the episode was alright. But did they expect me to admire the bears and take them seriously? Or find them comedy relief? You can't really have both at once with those stupid voices and dumb behavior. Like at that point, they're too much comedy relief to be badass.